Hello, how are you today? I am American Social Democracy here to share my political insights with the world. So here I am doing just that. But before I get online to talk about what I'm going to talk about, I am on Twitch right now, and I'm planning to sign on to Rumble in the near future. This afternoon, actually, just a few moments ago, maybe about an hour ago now, something like that, I did a Twitch introduction. And when I finish my introduction, I usually, like with YouTube, I usually look over what I've done. Well, I wasn't able to look at my Twitch, so there's something I got to figure out. I got to figure out the bugs out of operating the account. So there's that. And so I will do another introduction later on Twitch when I know what the hell I'm doing. So anyway, let me get started to on this subject here about these gas prices. And we hate them. We hate these gas prices. So, well, let's see here. I remember in the 1990s, gas prices fluctuate between 89 cents, 88 cents a gallon to $1.25. And when it went up to about $1.25, we're like, holy smoke! I don't know how I'm going to deal with these gas prices. And that's how I was, how it was in the 1990s. So and it was a very politicized time. You had even though I don't defend Bill Clinton in any way, shape, or form, I know, Republican villainous nature of the Republican Party. I know that elected Republicans have a serious mean streak in them, and they will do whatever it takes to win on the public relations and implement policies that are just going to be so bad for the American people, be bad for the people around the world, for that matter. And it's just how they are. I'm talking about elected Republicans. I'm not talking about your next door neighbor Republicans. As far as the Democrats, they're garbage too. I'll tell you, the Democratic Party's garbage all day long. But here's the thing. Back in the 1990s, 1992, when Bill Clinton won the presidency, the Republican Party were like, how dare the Democrats take away the White House? It belongs to us. Only Republicans are supposed to win the White House. Those damn Democrats, they're going to pay. They're going to pay for defeating George W. Bush. They're going to pay. And that's what they did. I mean, we're talking about Rush Limbaugh. We're talking about 700 Club. We're talking about the whole culture war that Pat Buchanan talked about in the Republican convention in the 90s. And it wasn't even so much, people weren't even talking about income inequality, even though we had a lot of income inequality at the time. Still do. But they were talking about guns, gays, and guns. Guns, gays, and guns. Prayer in school. Abortion. It was ridiculous. And so they decided that they couldn't bring down Bill Clinton's presidency with the impeachment. And so I believe that the oil companies decided, since a lot of them are heavily Republican and right-wing at that, they decided that they were going to go and attack the Democratic Party and attack the presidency and to try to turn the American people against the whole notion of having another Democrat in the White House again. So, and I know I'm sounding like a partisan Democrat saying this. I'm not. I assure you I'm not. But here's the thing. In 2000, George W. Bush stole the presidency. It was a very close election. It was all decided in Florida. Kathleen Harris, who was the Secretary of State under Governor Jeb Bush, she was a hardcore Republican. And Jeb Bush obviously the brother, younger brother George W. Bush, and a Reagan-Bush stacked Supreme Court all coalesced and stolen the presidency from Al Gore, which I don't like Al Gore. I don't like Al Gore. Don't like Joe Lieberman. I mean, it was probably one of the worst. It probably might have been the worst Democratic ticket imaginable at the time, as far as I'm concerned. But probably the only thing worse than that was Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine in 2016. Having that said, the gas prices started to creep up in around the year 2000, and then as the gas prices started to creep up, a lot of people started blaming the liberals for this sort of thing, and then 9/11 happened. And then around 2002, when there was a lot of fear mongering about Saddam Hussein and his weapons of mass destruction, and he's politically in bed with Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda. Never mind that the United States indirectly helped in the creation of Al Qaeda. Never mind that what became the Taliban in Afghanistan were propped up by the United States to fight against them godless communist Soviets. You know, that's what it was all about. And they forget about these things, and all of a sudden, you know, Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden are supposedly politically being bedfellows with their attack against the West, which makes no political sense at all, because Osama bin Laden was the radical Muslim version of the radical rabid Christian here in the United States, whereas Saddam Hussein was the cynical secular guy that he may have gone to Muslim temple to pray like a Christian going to church on Sunday, but were very lukewarm and then didn't give a damn for the rest of the week. So it made no sense for Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden to be politically embedded with each other when Al Qaeda referred to the Iraqi Ba'ath Party as socialist infidels. Something that the right wing in this country seems to have in common with the bin Laden types halfway across the world. Same hatred. Hatred of socialists, hatred of the LGBTQ community, hatred of Jews, hatred of people having a live let live attitude. You know, so, you know, you got the Taliban in Afghanistan, you got the American Taliban here in the United States. So, anyway, and that's what was going on in 2002. And then this mob mentality of crusading against same-sex marriage and telling people that the Democrats are a bunch of socialists, that kind of thing. And when I do that kind of a voice, I do it because I'm making fun of somebody from the past that kind of sounded like that. So that's why I try to sound, when I sound like an ignorant hick, that's where it comes from. So anyway, the gas prices started to creep on down around October of 2002, and then as soon as the Republicans gained seats in the House and Senate in that midterm election, the gas prices went up again. And then same thing happened in 2004. The gas prices started to creep on down a little bit prior to the 2004 election. And when George W. Bush was reelected and Republicans increased their seats in the House and the U.S. Senate in that election, which was the most depressing election in my life, what happened was that the gas prices started to shoot back up again. And then it started to go higher and higher and higher. And then started to creep on down a little bit prior to the 2006 election. But this time the Democrats were able to take back the House and the Senate because people were tired of the Republicans. People were tired of the neocon wars, and they were tired of all the shit that was going on during Bush and Cheney. Because we were a garrison state, we were being spied on and everything. I mean, we're not really a free country today because of the shit that was created by Bush and Cheney 20-some years ago. Authoritarianism that exists today under Biden and Harris, and the authoritarianism of Donald Trump and Mike Pence were nothing new. That shit goes right back to George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. So anyway, they decided, the right wing decided they're going to go and gouge the consumers at the gas pump. How dare did the Democrats retake the House and the Senate. That's what happened. And all of a sudden, you know what happened? I mean, gas prices were getting up to about $4 or $5 a gallon. And I'll give you a little anecdote about myself. It was like a little over $4 a gallon in the fall of 1988. When my grandmother was alive, I took her out to dinner one night at the K&W in Raleigh. And as I was driving back on through Garner, and there was a hurricane scare, all of a sudden there was gas prices were like at $3.85 a gallon when it was like $4.03 the week prior, and all of a sudden the lines were at all the gas stations. It was like endless lines of cars, and I'm like, oh shit, I know what's going to happen. And I got out into the parking lot, and I got out of the car, and I started screaming at these people. I was like, God damn it, what are y'all doing? You're going to raise the gas prices. You're going to raise the gas prices. Oh my God, you don't know what you're doing. Guess what happened? $5.25 the day after that happened. The day after, $5.25. $5.30. It was getting, just like, I was like, I worked 30 miles. I mean, drove 30 miles to and from work. It was killing me. But anyway, I think that they decided to go and to get the gas prices down a little bit because they were figuring John McCain needed all the help he could get to make sure that socialist Muslim Obama don't become the president. That sort of thing. And, somehow the energy policy and I guess things got stabilized a little bit where the gas prices started to be kind of bearable during the Obama years and even during the Trump years. But what happened was, I'll go into why I think that the gas prices went back up. But I'm sitting there talking my head off. So let me play you this replay from the past, and I will comment a little more afterwards. So I'm sorry about that. There we go. Give me a moment here, and
before they left Washington for their August recess, Congress failed to take action on an issue that is currently of great concern to Americans: high prices at the gas pump. The fundamental reason for high gasoline prices is that the supply of oil is not keeping pace with demand. To reduce pressure on prices, we need to increase the supply of oil, especially oil produced here at home. So in June, I called on Congress to open up more of America's domestic oil resources for exploration, including offshore exploration of the outer continental shelf. The American people overwhelmingly support this proposal, but throughout the summer, the leaders of the Democratic Congress have refused to allow it to come to a vote. Now that the pressure to take action has become overwhelming, Democratic leaders in Congress have changed their strategy. Rather than attempting to block expanded drilling by preventing a vote, they are now attempting to block it by bringing up a bill that is designed to fail. News reports indicate that Democratic leaders in Congress may plan to hold a vote on a bill that would make us more dependent on foreign oil and would likely make energy costs go up, not down. This bill would raise taxes on energy companies, which would reduce domestic production. This bill would make the nation more vulnerable to supply shocks by tapping into our emergency supply of oil, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And it would impose a rigid national mandate that would increase electricity costs in states where there are few renewable resources. Democratic leaders know that these counterproductive proposals will not become law, yet they seem ready to push this legislation as a way to block offshore drilling while appearing to be in favor of it. They need to stop standing in the way of expanding domestic production and take meaningful steps now to address the pain caused by high energy prices.
Okay, one moment here, because hold on a second. Okay, well, you want to know why that's bullshit? I will tell you why that's bullshit. Because at that time, people were driving extremely large vehicles. It's like, it was like they know that driving large vehicles, requires more fuel. And they don't give a damn. Americans had this notion that that their car is like a phallic symbol. So they feel like they're driving a big old penis on the highway. They want to show how alpha they are by driving these huge cars and these Hummer Jeeps that were so obnoxious at that time. And then they talk about the offshore drilling that was going on, the whole thing. And I remember hearing Republican partisan hacks saying, well, Bill Clinton signed an executive order that prevent us from drilling oil off the coast. Not that I'm for that, but I told these Republican types, and I'm like, hey, if that's the case, you got your stupid guy in the White House, Shrub. We used to call George W. Bush Shrub back in the day. A Shrub, if he's got a pen, if y'all feel so strongly about him, tell him to go ahead and sign the executive order for offshore drilling. Not that I am for it, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate saying that. And, they were speechless because for them, it will solve the problem. And if it's going to solve the problem, we can't sit there and lecture and bitch at the liberals anymore. That's really all there is in their little mindset. So anyway, here's the thing. The United States was, like they're doing today, sucking up to Saudi Arabia. That's what they love to do. However, they love to bully Venezuela. Venezuela is an oil-rich country. Instead of bullying Venezuela, cut relationship with Saudi Arabia. Buy your oil from Venezuela. And let me tell you, whether Venezuela is communist or not, it isn't, by the way. Thing about Venezuela is, as far as human rights is concerned, what little bit of human rights abuse that may exist in Venezuela, which I think is extremely exaggerated to begin with, you're not going to be executed for leaving whatever religion you belong to in Venezuela. You will in Saudi Arabia. You will not be executed for being LGBTQ in Venezuela. You will be in Saudi Arabia. Venezuela is not out there trying to commit terrorism against the United States. Saudi Arabia commits and funnel and terrorism and back terrorist attacks against the West. But Iran is a country to be scared of, who does absolutely virtually nothing in regard to terrorism against the West. But you're gonna go and suck up to Saudi Arabia, and then you're gonna bully a country like Venezuela, which is, they're trying to solve their problems in their country, and you're gonna go and try to bully them. That's what's going on right there. So, and here's another thing: the Republicans, they'll tell you back then that George W. Bush and the presidency don't control the gas prices, but all of a sudden, Joe Biden, it's all Joe Biden's fault. Them damn Democrat socialist-communists. Really. I used to hear repeal the gas tax. Sorry, the gas tax isn't the problem. I don't mind paying the gas tax. It keeps the roads relatively usable. It could be improved. Gas tax theoretically could go and fund things like public transit, public transportation projects. So no, I'm opposed to repealing the gas price. Because you repeal the gas prices is still going to be high. The gas tax isn't the problem. And then vilifying the liberals for whatever y'all define liberals as. And then blaming Biden for the gas prices going up. You know what? We had COVID. And with the COVID that we're having, we're trying to sort of get back to normal. We're trying to restore a sense of normalcy in our country. And hold on a second. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Hold on a moment. Let's see. Yeah. We're trying to restore a sense of normalcy to the United States, and with the normalcy, gas prices are going to go high because of the demand. We got people that were locked down, laid off, stuck in their houses. People weren't really traveling as much, and now people are, and that's why we have the gas prices kind of high. It's one hell of a pinch for me too. I don't like it any more than anybody else. I drive 40 miles each way to work every night and come back. Drive 40 miles to work, drive back 40 miles to work. So back and forth 40 miles, and it's rough. It honestly is. So anyway, that's pretty much what's going on there. So as far as the gas prices, we'll see how things are going to turn out. Now, I'm about ready to log off right now, but I want to give a shout out to Radical Leftist Agenda. I see you're online, and I'm always glad to see you online, and always enjoy your program on Twitch each night. So anyway, I am going to part ways right now. Maybe take a nap because I need it. So I will conclude by leaving everyone here this nice little interlude, and I can have a discussion if anybody wants to. Good night.
This entrepreneur